This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about. Today's hosts are Soraya Bosted, Natalie Lundquist, Samantha Castro Flores, and Paul Schwarzkopf. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Welcome back to The Spot. I am your host, Natalie Lundquist, here with my amazing co-host,
Soraya Bosted.
And we have two wonderful guests today. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Ladies first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That has never happened to me before. Hey, guys, my name is Sam, and that's all I have to say. Right? Yeah.
Well, do you want to tell us like where you're from? And
Yes,
stuff?
I'm from Bolivia, a country down in South America, for all those who don't know. And I'm 21 years old, and I study communications.
Perfect. Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul. He spoiled it naturally.
I'm sorry. Can you say your full name? Because I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Paul Schwarzkopf.
Okay.
No one can really pronounce that over here. I mean, fair enough. It's a very German last name. That's where I'm from. Yeah.
I've never met anyone from Germany here. I speak German.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes. Someday. On a very good day.
I'm sorry that you do.
Me too.
Wait,
I
Sam,
didn't want to.
try and say something in German.
Oh, yes. What's your last name?
Schwarzkopf.
Schwarzkopf.
Perfect.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect. We are so happy to have our guests on today. And as we were kind of thinking about this topic for the podcast, I was thinking about things that other countries do that I'm kind of like, oh, that's odd. I'm not used to that. And then we're like, wait, what do other countries think of us? Like,
Yeah.
what are things that we do that people find weird? So, I don't know. I'll just like open it up. What are things that you guys, just from being in America for the time you have been, that you've noticed that you're just like, that's different. I don't know if I like that. That's odd. Whatever it is.
Roast us.
Roast
Please.
us.
No, I'm just kidding, guys. I need to start this. I feel like I need to start this. But
Go for it.
I don't understand. How is it fun to like go on a date on a hike?
Okay.
Like,
okay, but I get that too.
I either breathe or I either talk, but like walking and all of that during a hike, it just doesn't make sense. Like, how am I supposed to find the love of my life and charm him into like me and my Bolivian self if I'm like, yeah, I love grapefruit. Like,
Honestly, I'm with you on that one. I don't get people who do that as a first date.
Yeah.
or second or third
Like,
or
what
fourth.
I feel like once you're dating the person, then it's like okay. But
Oh
it's
yeah, like they're
once-
not gonna leave me if they
Exactly,
already know me.
exactly, literally. But like first and second dates before you're like getting serious with the person, I'm like maybe not. Then again, I don't like cardio, so
I know,
that
and
could be a
also-
bias.
And also, like, if you don't know someone and they're like, let's go on a hike, in my Latino mind, like, it just clicks. Like, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Honestly,
They're gonna kill me right here.
that could
And
just be a woman thing too.
That's just a woman thing.
Do you go through that?
No, not really. But
Yeah,
It's a woman thing.
I don't go on hikes with men, so.
That's fair. That's fair. You know
Yeah,
what?
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
They
We
can
don't
Yeah.
judge.
show me.
But
Yeah, I feel like that's mainly a woman thing. Is anytime you're with a man alone, especially a secluded place that you don't know the man that well, it's like, today is the day I die.
That's
I
like,
know.
cool.
This sounds dangerous.
That's like being a woman one-on-one. You don't go on a first date somewhere secluded.
oh yeah,
Yep.
it has to be public.
It has to be
Yep.
public.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, on a brighter note, or I guess it's about something I dislike is like when people walk past me, and I remember this one specific instance when like I was like an old gentleman. He wasn't that old, like he was 40 or something like that. But we were just chilling in the hall, and he just walked past us, and he's like, "How are you doing?" And he just kept walking. I even didn't get an answer out of my mouth. He was gone that quick now. And I always ask myself, why do you ask if you actually don't care? Like, if you don't care to listen to me, why start a conversation that you're not going to finish or continue? Or any other way.
Yeah, Americans are jerks.
Well, it's so funny because, like, I'll do that. Like, I'll see someone
That's
and I'll be
true.
like, hi, how are you? And they'll be like, good, how are you? And then we just keep walking and I'll say good. But, like, we're already past. And sometimes I'm like, why are we doing this? Like,
Then
can't we just
again,
smile and continue?
I feel like Americans are just always in such a rush.
Yeah.
We always are. Doesn't matter what we're doing. We could have literally nothing going on that day, but if we're anywhere out in public,
Got to get somewhere else.
It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I
That
do
is
think that is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
thought about it either.
Though, like, I feel like if you're in a hurry and, like, don't ask them how you're doing, just nod and smile, say
like, "Sup?"
maybe even hi, maybe, and not as sufficient. I feel like to acknowledge another person.
Yeah, that's
As
fair.
a friendly gesture, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There is a video about the power of greeting that I saw a few times in my life, purposely.
And this video
Well,
was
it just
about-
well, it just says like it's like a bunch of people in a restaurant in Argentina, and then because in the South American culture too, like greeting is something like it's like an acknowledgement, like you said, like hey, I know you're here. Obviously, I do the whole hey, how are you, and then I keep going. Or sometimes I say, and I'm wearing headphones, so like I'm clearly not listening whether they're okay or not, which is bad. Thank you for pointing that out. Maybe I am American. But yeah, the video is like a bunch of people in the restaurant, and then people just walk in and they're like, hey, and everyone's like, hey. So then this young guy, like, handsome looking guy walks in, and he just walks in and he orders, and so everybody goes silent, and everyone's like staring at him. Even the TV stares at him. And then the owner asks, like, have we like met before, or do I owe you something? And then he's like, hey, and everyone's like, hey, and then the music comes back, and it's just like the power of greeting. But it makes sense what you're saying. We do that.
yeah.
Everyone in their own little world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember that one specific incident where the guy just kept walking. I just looked after him and was like, I was so confused, so baffled. Just like, yeah, I don't know.
So when you guys first came here for school, or just first came to America in general, what was like the first thing that you were like the first big culture shock you had that like made you audible, like physically like go, I'm sorry, what? Or like, do you remember one of like your first big culture shocks where you were like, I'm sorry, what?
I think I have those moments every day.
I mean, I don't remember like the first time. I mean, one thing that I just just thought about is just the first time when I saw someone actually dressed in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. Like, I just stared at that guy how he was just walking past me. It's like, what? People are like for real dressed up like that. They live like the cowboy life. That's just so strange to me.
Yeah, cowboys are not just a thing at the movies.
I know.
Which is so funny.
It's really fun when you're chilling and you see someone walk past and like their boots, their belt buckle, and their hat, and you're like, oh, that's real. That's not them. That's real.
Yeah.
That's not them dressing up or anything. That's just
I feel
them.
I feel like some people are like, oh yeah, I want to be like a Westerner. I want to be a cowboy, and they like dress the part. But I'm like, you are from the city.
Mm-hmm.
No. But then there are the people, and you can tell the difference.
Oh yeah.
Then there are the people who like.
It's what they wear the
Full-
cowboy boots with. That's how you can tell the difference.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
It's like the OG like Wrangler jeans with like
A ratted hoodie from their high school.
ratted hoodie,
Baseball cap that's got a grease stain on it that you're
basically.
you
Then
don't
you're
know
like,
where it
Yeah,
came from.
and you
You
also
are a
don't
cowboy.
want to know.
You don't wanna know
like,
where it came
you
from.
really don't. That's funny. I don't know. What are some that
I don't
you have
know.
experienced?
I think just like even from the airport, like the security to go into the United States is so much, and I always get randomly selected for a double checking just because of the country where I
course.
come from. And so I don't know, in other places they don't make you take your shoes off and stuff, but here they just, and you know what, this is a really funny experience. You can crop this maybe later, but I have to say it. I had like some sort of a bypass surgery in my stomach, so I had like, I don't know what you call it, but
Staples?
yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say. And so I went through security coming back last year from Bolivia, and so I was like this, and they scanned me, and and then they see something in my stomach, and I'm already Latina, I'm already like super Latina looking, I'm already coming from Bolivia, I already have an accent, and I'm in Texas, so it's like everything that could possibly go wrong could really actually go wrong. And so they asked me what I have in my belly, and I'm like, nothing, like there's nothing there, but like the scans were showing something, so they thought I had like drugs, and it was a big deal, and they took me to this room, and I was like, oh wait, I have this surgery, blah 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 blah. But until then, like in any other country, I don't even think the scanners in my country work. So it's like, it's just crazy how like the security works in America.
As much as I hate TSA, can we highlight that one sentence? I don't think the scanners in my country work.
Yeah. This is true. I love my country, but this is true.
I mean, I have to agree, because like coming from Central Europe, I traveled around like by plane a couple times as well throughout Europe, and like I mean, fair enough, European borders. I mean, it's more chill when you drive, but still, it's not as strict. Like they just check you. I mean, like as I was traveling and getting older, the security got actually less and less.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like more relaxed, but.
Or maybe we got used to it. Have you ever thought about that? Because I've been thinking, and I like at the beginning I was like, oh, I have to take my shoes off and I have to take everything. But now I'm like, boom, 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 boom. Like I'm a master at it. And I don't know if it's me or if it's the security, but definitely something changed.
I remember like having to take my belt off, my shoes and stuff like that. It doesn't happen. It's not always anymore. I know sometimes, but.
Oh, it happens always to me.
Okay, to be fair, we did reach a point where it was like every electronic has to have its own individual tub, to now being like just put them all in one tub and just like.
Okay.
Yeah, and put your
through.
shoes there too.
Yeah. Put your shoes in there too. I don't care if it breaks your laptop. Put them all. Just put them in.
Put them all together. Also, there are so many flags. So many American flags. Have you realized that?
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Like every 2 blocks or 3, you're like American flag. Just in case you forget that you're in America.
Yeah. Americans love their flags. Not even just the American flag. There's a flag for literally everything in America.
Dude, yeah. Every state.
Most cities have their own flag.
Every military
military branch. Americans love their flags. It gets very annoying sometimes.
Well, then you're confusing. You're just kind of staring at the flag and you're like, what is that for?
Yeah.
What's that for? Yeah.
Like those big pickup trucks that drive by that have like 4 flags coming out of the back.
And
of
you
it,
try to
just
read
waving,
all
and I'm like, wait, what does that one say?
Yeah, you try to read all of them at once as they're speeding past you, going 10 over.
Would I be friends with you or no?
Yep.
Based on your flags.
Yep.
Most of the time it's a no. But
Yep. Although sometimes the pickup trucks surprise you and you have to stop and laugh.
That's
'Cause you're
true.
like, I'm sorry, what was on the back of that truck?
That is true.
Yeah, did you actually see that?
Mm-hmm.
Was that
It's
real?
funny.
Yeah.
No, speaking of trucks, one thing I think is weird as well, and I say that all the time to like people I know, like, because I grew up in a pretty urban area, like there's a major city next to where I grew up, basically like 30 minutes away or whatever. So we went often to the city and stuff, like, but so what I don't understand is just like big cars. Like, why do you need a truck? Why do you need like an SUV? Like, that makes no sense. They take so much gas. Parking is difficult. Like, why make your life difficult?
I know. Every time I see a big, like at this point of my life where I'm becoming financially independent and I survive out of tuna like the last 3 or 4 days of the month, I see a truck and I see a young person driving it, and it's not even like, wow, look at that guy in there. It's like, oh my gosh, how much does he spend on gas?
That's true. Gas does cost a lot.
Yeah.
Luckily for young people, most of the time they're not the ones paying for the truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's their parents paying for the truck.
Doesn't happen to me, and I'm young. How do I qualify for like young people whose parents pay for the truck? Yeah. This is like my biggest thing in Bolivia. We're a poor country, but we like luxury. And so you don't put gas on your car. You just go and somebody does it for you, which is amazing because you are not cool. Obviously the person working is cool, and I guess I should be more human about it, but I'm also human about me. And here I got here the first time I like put gas on my car. I had no idea how to do it. I was like, how does this work? What are these buttons? Like, how, you know? But I don't know if it's like that in Germany.
Yeah. Funny enough, I just returned basically from Oregon from a trip. They do that in Oregon.
Oregon and New Jersey, they have people fill up your cars
That's
for
right.
you.
Oh, that's
Super
where I
confused,
should
'cause
go.
got out, wanted to fill up. A guy comes over, just takes the thing from me, and just like was like, "How much you want?" It's like, I don't know. Until it's full. He's like, "Okay, whatever." Like,
Because I'm from Eastern Washington, so I have to drive through Eastern Oregon to get home. The little subsection of Eastern Oregon I drive through, they don't have gas station attendants, and I think every time I drive, because I hate people touching my car or messing with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do it myself. Thank you so much. I know you get paid to do this. Please let me politely decline, because I can do it myself. Trust me.
Yeah,
I
and
get
it's
that.
a huge change also. I wouldn't be surprised if we had to tip them too. Okay, tips are like something. Why is it my responsibility? You know, tips are like the best. It's like such an American system, because
That's
there's
true.
the owner and he's not going to pay the employees, so like, you know, their salary depends on them, when it should actually just
That's
depend on the
true.
owner,
Mm-hmm.
because he's just
No,
making
yeah.
a bunch of money, and then, you know.
Yeah. No, see, I do agree with that. I do love tipping. I will without fail tip
Yeah, me
my
too.
servers, unless they are literally the worst people I've
Yeah.
ever had in my life
Yeah.
and they do not deserve a tip.
Mhm.
I will always tip my servers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like so shocking to me, even like growing up in this country, how little they get paid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Their paychecks are sometimes insane.
Like-
and they can just get away with it because they claim tips as another
Yeah.
form of income.
Like,
Yep.
I have a friend in Texas. Her hourly pay is like $3 an hour, and she has to live on tips.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's literally ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they can get away with it because it's something like servers pay or whatever. Like, it's a completely different pay from minimum wage. Like, you can
Totally.
separate the two completely, which is weird.
And
They do
then-
make a lot though.
On tips, because they have to, because everyone knows
Yeah.
tipping, like, the culture
The
for servers in
culture of
America
tipping,
sucks.
yeah.
That's true. Tips are honestly it's the worst system.
Yeah, no, employees
They
should
just
be paid
need
enough.
to be paid a salary that's enough for them to be capable to just live. Like,
Yeah. And it is the business's responsibility, not the
Mhm.
people.
no, definitely.
Wow, that was really intense.
Yeah, America's dumb, y'all. I'm not,
But there's also
like,
so many good
there's so many
things.
good things about America. There is.
Like, you guys have no idea. In my country, you could never get a job that, like, you could never just be like somewhat independent financially at like 18 or even 16. Like, they want people graduated from the university at age 23, but that are like younger than 20 with 20 years of experience. You know, like
Yeah.
in South America, what really helps you, we call it muñeca. So it's like your dad has a friend that works here, so they're gonna hire you as a cleaning person after you graduated with your second master's, and you'll go from there. It's totally different. Like, there are so many opportunities here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
So I
that's
guess
true.
it's like the price to pay, which is not really that bad. Just the winter is horrible.
Well, you're the one who moved to Idaho,
I know. I did.
Sam, from South
I know,
America.
I
That's
know,
on
I
you.
know, I know. I totally know.
Okay. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys can think of that you'd want to talk about? Anything else that's weird that we do?
We already kind of touched upon it with the whole racism debate, but like how what's the word? Not diversive. How splitting basically like politics are.
Dude.
Mm.
Oh,
How,
yeah.
Like, there's two different camps, with, like no in between. It's like it's totally different from Germany, where I come from.
Yeah.
And, like the really hate speech against each other, like kind of like it's a bit much.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a bit weird, like, cause like I mean, in Germany it's like you believe whatever, you like politically believe whatever. It's like whatever. Like you can have political discourses, of course, with like people you know, friends, whatever. Well, you can obviously disagree, but it's not going to be a big deal. You're still friends.
Mhm.
You have
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
other stuff in common, and like that's totally fine. But like here it seems to be this whole thing. Like if you're like a Democrat, you're like the devil, or the Republican, you're also the devil, or something.
That's true. It's funny. It's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody ever wants to talk about politics because it's just like, oh, such
Well,
a topic.
If politics comes up, there's going to be an argument.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what respect you bring it up in. You just, that's why it's like kind of become a part of American culture that like you talk about politics in a couple places but not in others because of the fact that it is so polarizing and people just get so angry and
So
passionate
heated,
about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I know for me, it's like, I stay educated, I do my research, but I refuse to talk about politics with anyone. I don't talk about it with my boyfriend. I don't talk about it with my parents. My parents don't even talk about it with each other. They don't tell each other who they're voting for or anything like that. And it's like, for me, I know if I got into a conversation about it, I'll be respectful, but the other person typically won't be.
Yeah, you don't know what the other person's reaction is going to be.
And so, yeah, it just gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk about politics at all to anyone because the argument's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it to fight about something that silly. Like,
And you're never going to agree with anyone
Exactly.
on politics. And if you do, marry that person.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. And I just feel like it's about opinions. You know, you're allowed to have your own.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, definitely.
But yeah, I think that's all I have for America today.
America sucks. Just kidding, not that much.
Loses his visa tomorrow. Gets the I-20 canceled.
Oh, there's so much paperwork you guys don't even know.
Oh yeah, you have
so annoying.
no idea how much paperwork it requires to come here.
I don't.
I don't
yeah.
want to know.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Like it's a process of months and months and months. And then whatever, anything, like the smallest thing you do, you're out of status. You work 20 hours and 25 minutes, you're out of status. Like, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
I can't even imagine that. Like,
Dude.
the amount of respect I have
Yeah.
for the people that come from other countries, I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do it.
Well, because, like, I know the amount of stuff it requires for us as American citizens.
Right.
And I think that's enough. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
already, like, too much. But then, like,
right.
international, like, students or international workers come in, they're like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's, like, the tip of the iceberg. And I'm like, really? Because it took me, like, 17 different tries to, like, find this one piece of paperwork that I was required to bring in,
Yep.
da-da-da. And they're like, yeah, imagine that for, like, 35 different documents instead of 2. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's fair.
Like even for taxes, we can't use TurboTax, for example. We have to go through someone, and every time we travel, we have to carry like a bunch of paper. Like, yeah, this is my 20, this is my I-93, this is my I this, I that, I that.
Last time when I traveled, like when I came back here, the guy at the German airport was like, so, like for some reason, because my visa is in my passport, right? Like he flipped through it like multiple times, he couldn't find it. So like he's like, okay, show me all your other documents. So I pull all the documents, and he's like, looks at it, he's like, I'm not sure. Like, I have to verify or something. I was like come
I'm
on.
showing you
I've done
everything.
this multiple times. Please let me back.
Yeah, at this point, I think I could work for the airport. Like easily with my eyes closed.
I don't even like having to find my ID and birth certificate. I think I might die going through that.
Social Security
Holy.
card, yeah.
Like you have to have all your all the I-20s you ever got in your
Oh
life. You
my.
need to have.
Yeah, I have a little like folder
Mhm,
like
me
I
too.
always carry with me. It's like
Me too. Me
That's
too.
crazy.
I have multiple pages and like everything I need in case they ask.
Yeah, because they could ask you for anything.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh my.
sponsorship, they could ask you. And in the visa interview, like they ask you the most random things, like what color are your socks? And you're like, black.
Really, they did that too. I can't remember my visa too, to be honest. I think.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a big,
That's-
big
oh my
process.
gosh.
That's what America is.
Like, dang.
Like shocked.
I thought this was just gonna be like a fun episode of us getting roasted. Now we're sitting here like speechless.
Everybody walks out, starts crying.
Well, I think that's all we have.
Jeez Louise.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode, and thank you to our wonderful guest host for joining us as well. We definitely learned a lot today. To kind of go along with our topic of different countries and traveling and stuff like that, our positive quote for the week is by Andrew Zimmern, and it says, "Please be a traveler, not a tourist. Try new things, meet new people, and look beyond what's right in front of you. Those are the keys to understanding this amazing world we live in." So keep that in mind as you go through your week, and we hope you have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were Soraya Bosted, Natalie Lundquist, Samantha Castro Flores, and Paul Schwarzkopf. The views and opinions of the podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by Natalie Lundquist. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get podcasts. And also leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.